Hi, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be an exercise in getting this video as close to 10 minutes as possible. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of half slept, half watched all of these games this morning, and it's not like I missed that much, because we had two semifinals blowouts. MOUZ were held to 9 total rounds versus the Falcons, because it turns out that Nico and MOUZ are pretty good at playing Counter-Strike. I don't know, kind of weird. And then Vitality steamrolled the Mongolz, holding them to 6 total rounds. So there was not much Counter-Strike that was played this morning in IEM Melbourne 2025. So let's sift through the damages and prep for a finals later tonight at goddamn midnight, and try and answer the question, can MOUZ defeat ZywOo and stop Vitality from winning the Grand Slam? If you guys like this kind of content, make sure you show me by hitting the like button, leaving a comment, and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. It helps out immensely the YouTube algorithm, as well as with helping me reach 10k subscribers. Once again, I'm also going to plug my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/LionHeartZ. I stream Sunday through Friday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Many of you guys went over and followed yesterday, and I greatly appreciate it. If you could also do that if you haven't already, it would help out immensely. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and thank today's sponsor. That's right, this video is sponsored by Skin Club. They're one of the most popular case opening sites in the scene, with over 100 custom cases backed by their provably fair system. You can open cases individually or wager your winnings against other users in case battles, either with players around the world or privately with bots if you want to avoid being smurfed outside of Premiere as well. But wait, there's more. Skin Club runs monthly events with free rewards to earn, free daily cases, and if you don't like what you earned, you can always go for a cheeky little upgrade to get something you do. If you want to play on Skin Club, you can do so at the top link in the description down below and get a 7% deposit bonus when you top off your account with credit card, crypto, or the 5,000 P250 sand dunes in your inventory. Please gamble responsibly and only do so if you are over 18 and live in a country or jurisdiction that doesn't restrict gambling. Gambling can be an addiction, and you should never gamble for the purposes of making profit. Only wager what you are comfortable losing. If you or a loved one are suffering from gambling addiction in the US or Canada, you can reach out to 1-800-GAMBLER toll-free to get help. I want you to be safe and healthy always, so seek help if you need it. And thank you to Skin Club for sponsoring this video. Getting right into it, I feel pretty vindicated when we start talking about Falcons versus MOUZ here, because I feel like this was easy to call from a mile away if you have any understanding of this matchup between the star players. As much as I really like Xerxin and TeSeS, they are just worse versions of Nico and MOUZ. All of these players play similar styles, but Nico and MOUZ are two of the best to ever do it at those play styles, and Xerxin and TeSeS are only very good superstars. TeSeS especially was always going to struggle in the op v op matchup. Xerxin could always match up Hunt, try and play around Nico. He was going to be less of a concern. He still lost the matchup, but TeSeS got steamrolled by MOUZ. In all of their head-to-heads across both maps, TeSeS only got 1 kill to MOUZ's 12. So with the star players in the Torment Nexus, I think that put MOUZ on the back foot early, and it felt like they were never able to establish themselves in this series. On Dust 2, they got battered 13-3. Those 3 round wins came on their CT side. They were all disparate round wins with no consecutive wins coming at any point in the half. They won the pistol, they got cucked on the force buy because MOUZ with the hero AK, and that put them way behind on the economy. They ended up in this force buy hell where they were saving after losing A site almost immediately in back-to-back rounds. They were never able to reestablish their economy, really get back into a full buy before Falcons already put up 5 straight rounds. Combine that with Xerxin and TeSeS really struggling, Jimmy being the only player to reach double digits throughout this map. This felt like the first time other than playing against Vitality where MOUZ looked like they were lost for answers. Brolin is still a new IGL, obviously, and I don't think he had the wherewithal, the experience to try and make these mid-game adjustments to re-enable his stars and shuffle the pieces. That's incredibly high-level macro play, and even some of the best in-game leaders of all time like Kerrigan and Glaive can struggle to do it when you're already so far behind in a matchup. It's not easy. Your star players are slumping, the communication starts to fall apart because players are tilted. It's an easy recipe for an inexperienced in-game leader to let things slip away, and conversely, Falcons were just cruising on their just best assets where MOUZ and Nico were taking space at will. TeSeS was having great entries through long, even had Kicksand getting a lot of kills. Sure, Magisk was terrible still, but he wasn't even really needed. There was no tactical revolution on show here from the Falcons. They simply went where they want on the map and they won their gunfights. Even on a round where they didn't clear pit and Xerxes gets a great triple kill leading to one of those 3 round wins for MOUZ, the very next round, Falcons just bounce back, go out long again, and run them over. I get pretty frustrated when people talk about this Falcons roster because other than obvious jokes about the oil money, which are very funny and you should make them every time, when people talk about this roster compared to NiKo and mouZ on G2, I feel like people really misrepresent the differences between the two. Honestly, I don't know in any world where you could say this Falcons roster is worse than what G2 had, just because right away, Kixen and Zonic are so far and away better than Snax and TeSeS as an IGO coach duo that's like not even funny to compare them. Like we were talking about Neanderthals banging rocks versus like advanced civilization levels of intellect difference here. TeSeS is only there for the vibes. G2 CEO said it himself, right? He's not there for his tactical prowess. And Snax is holding his fucking strat book upside down and wondering where he should go A or B next. So in that regard, right away, I would consider the Falcons roster to be vastly superior than the G2 rosters that won championships last year. And they won those championships because of, hey, these 2 guys, NiKo and mouZ, who are also on Falcons. Don't know if you heard that. And then humor me for a second. I'm just going to roll the nuke footage in the background because it's another blowout and I don't have anything to say about it beyond that. I want to talk about TeSeS specifically. Because yes, I will acknowledge that Magisk versus Hunter is not really that good of a comparison because Hunter has just been better. I would argue that Magisk plays different roles, they serve different purposes, but in terms of just impact for impact, there's no argument from me. Hunter is the better player than Magisk for like the last 2 years. It's not even close. However, I think people massively misrepresent the gulf between MOUZ and TeSeS because yes, MOUZ had a better 2024 than TeSeS did. You're not going to get me to say otherwise. But in this year, 2025, this season, TeSeS has been better. He's straight up been better, and I can prove it with the stats here. If you go over to Skybox Edge, which is a fantastic resource for stat aggregation, you can compare the 2 players. Now, you may see this comparison and be like, hey, Lion, there's not much difference between those 2 players. Wouldn't you say MOUZ is better? And I would say no. And it's very specifically for this one part of the graph, opening attempts. As you can see here, MOUZ has a 27% opening attempt rate. That is because he is the most aggressive player on G2. Makes a lot of sense. TeSeS similarly does a lot of the opening on the T sides for Falcons. He hovers at a 22% opening rate. Now, what is the difference between these two that makes TeSeS better? It's opening KD. Because while TeSeS averages a 1.01 opening KD, which isn't fantastic, but it's pretty serviceable for an entry fragger, MOUZ, while attempting 5% more, which is a lot, by the way, this 5% is a giant number, MOUZ has a sub 1 KD on opening attempts this season. That is disastrous for your primary entry fragger. Add on to that TeSeS appears to be a better flash assist player than MOUZ, is only 0.01 trade desk behind MOUZ, and is pretty much better or the same in every other relevant stat, then I would say TeSeS is the better player than MOUZ this season right now. MOUZ may go on to have a better career than TeSeS. I don't put that out of the cards whatsoever. But in terms of just swapping piece for piece right now to win games right now, TeSeS is better than MOUZ. So with the Marianas Trench between these 2 teams in terms of tactics, I find it very weird that people think this Falcons team is worse than what NiKo and mouZ had in G2. Anyways, all of that is to say, they curb stomped MOUZ. I don't expect MOUZ to play this bad in future matchups. I think MOUZ simply had a bad day, while Falcons cruised to back-to-back grand finals. Let's go ahead and talk about Vitality versus Mongolz next. Or, what there is to talk about, because this was a slaughter. I'd call this from a mile away, not like a revolutionary take, but yeah, Mongolz were never even like a ghost of a shot in this matchup. But I did not expect it to be this brutal. 13-3 on both maps is absurd. I don't even know where to start with this. I try to limit how much I just speak stats at you because, you know, it's kind of lazy commentary and I get away with it a lot. But hey, you know, the views are doing pretty good. Anyways, I'm going to speak some stats at you because these numbers hurt my brain. For the series, ZywOo goes 38-11. That is a plus minus of 27 with a 1.96 rating. These numbers are just inhuman. On Nuke, he goes 22-6 with a 2.14 rating. Rops goes 19-9 with a 2.21 rating. That's just absurd, dude. Meanwhile, every single star player on the Mongolz could not get above a 0.6 rating. Senzu went 13-30. Mazzino went 8-27. Ah! This was Coughing Baby versus Nuclear Bomb. This was just not a fair matchup, dude. I really think that Falcons have like a ghost of a shot against Vitality, but at the same time, I really feel like no one's beating Vitality. I just don't. I keep saying like, oh well, if they play bad, and then they don't play bad. Like, this team is so fucked. This team is so fucking absurd. What are you supposed to do when in the top 4 players at the event, 3 of them are Vitality players? And then even Mezzi, who is typically their worst player, is the 7th best player at this event. Like, Vitality just don't care. I think only one team got double-digit rounds against them at any point in any map. Sorry, had to go double check that. Yeah, the only team to push Vitality to double-digit rounds were the Falcons, and it was overtime in their upper bracket final game. Vitality still won that series 2-0. So, I mean, I keep on saying that the Falcons have a chance because Nico and Munacy, but at the same time, I feel like it just doesn't matter. I don't know. I honestly don't know who stops this team other than themselves. Fucking Zaiwu out here moving like Sukuna in the Shibuya incident. Like, fucking ref, stop him! Stop! Look what he's doing to them! Stop him! I'm gonna be so real for a second. I don't even know if Maharaga, Gojo, the Avatar, Goku, and Sailor Moon can stop this team. Fucking Apex is just Thanos with all the Infinity Stones and the Gauntlet, and just every single stone is Zaiwu's face. I feel like the only thing appropriate at this point is just to say that FaZe Clan doomed the scene by just letting Rops go for free. Like, you should have at least rinsed Vitality for this motherfucker. Like, Vitality just bought 5 majors off of you for nothing. They got him for free. Like, it's just absurd, dude. Like, they should have had to pay $10 million for Rops. That's like the only fair trade for this level of dominance. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and put a capstone on the rant for now. Predictions for the finals. This may surprise you to hear from me, but I think Vitality might win this one. I don't know where Falcons go in the veto, because if you want my very honest gut take, I think the Falcons should float Anubis. I know it's a best of 5 and you only get 1 ban, and Anubis is their perma ban, but like, fuck me, dude, you have to do something. And I think the only thing they can do is say you don't get Dust 2, because both these teams love it, but Vitality hasn't lost on it. So I just feel like, you know what? You take Anubis as a 5th map decider, and you hope to God you can beat Vitality in 4 games. I feel like that's the only reasonable path out. If you give Vitality Dust 2 and you ban Anubis because it's your perma, I feel like you've already lost. Anyways, yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. 10K subs by the end of the year, so make sure you subscribe. Follow me on twitch.tv/LionHeartZ2. Thank you to Skin Club for sponsoring this video. You check the top link in the description, you get 7% deposit bonus the next time you fill up. Make sure you gamble safely and responsibly. I want you to be healthy and happy always. Thank you to my channel members, Justin, Jesse Furley, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PTR, B1 Games, Cody Foxworthy, Justin Banner, Vegt, I'm Flashbang, Stormy White, Rowdy, Vergil'sPlasticChair, and Sid Pro 12. If you want to become a channel member, you can do so with the link in the description down below for $5 a month to get your name at the end of the video, as well as a custom role in our community Discord. Thank you to our channel members. Bye.